Well, hello. I am Charr Crail and aka the Muse, and I am here to talk about creativity. And I love helping people learn how to use some amazing tools out there. Photoshop, for example, which if you're seeing my desktop, you're seeing Photoshop. And also, I love to talk about digital and mobile art. Oh my gosh, there's so much fun out there. And for entrepreneurs, oh my gosh, how many people are in business right now? Everybody's starting their own business, which I think is fantastic. I've been a solo working full time freelancer as a photographer for many, many years now. Not even sure how many, but trust me, more than a decade. And I love it. I love the freedom that gives me. And so, like I said, there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there. They're selling products or services or whatever. And so, one of the things I love to do is help people figure out how to create marketing pieces using your cell phone. I know, sounds crazy, right? But you can. It's pretty extraordinary what you can do. So, I just figured I'd do some video blogging. And it's January 2017, a brand new year. So, in a way, this is kind of a launch. I figured what I would do is do a video vlog, is that what they call it? And show you an art piece that I worked on recently, just to sort of start a conversation around how we think and how we create, or at least certainly how I think and how I create. And so I've got this art piece that I worked on. Here it is. So this is, I just thought it'd be nice to have this splash screen, the Muse. This is actually my business card. On the back has all my contact information. And so now we just have a white background. So what I'm showing you right now is this is a drawing that I did actually on my iPad using a really cool app that I like, an art app. And I just did this simple line drawing, which had this came from when I was in high school, and my art teacher used to teach us how to do these line drawings. And it was just put the pen down, draw, don't pick the pen up. The intention, he called it empathic drawing at the time. I don't know what they call it now. You could call it a one line drawing. I'm sure there's words for it. But I always liked doing this, and I especially loved faces. I still love faces to this day. Whether it's the artwork that I'm doing or whether it's photographs of people, it's faces. I'm all about people. And so these line drawings always translated to, for me, very often, to faces. And what's fascinating about this is that even simple line, you can give the illusion of an entire shape. So when I look at this, I mean, I get that, it's just one eye, it's one nostril, it's one half of the lips, and yet there's still a completeness to it, right? So you could get sort of a sense of the shape of a face. There's a roundness, or you kind of draw it in. I mean, this is suspension of disbelief, right? In a sense, in that our eyes, our brain is going to fill in the blanks of what something looks like. And that's what's happening here. But what's interesting about this piece and why I chose it was because just a few days ago, I was looking at my work from the past year because I wanted to do a retrospective video, which I did, and pulled out some of the artwork that I did that I really liked and put it into a little video with music, and then I posted it online so that people could see my own retrospective, right? We can all do this. And then as I came across this piece, which actually was there amongst my work, but not part of last year's offerings, I was re-inspired by it. I saw more. And when I say I saw more, there's sort of a vision that happens. And those of you out there, artists, creatives of one kind or another, we get sort of visions in our head, right? It's a certain kind of thing that happens. Our imaginations take over. And in my case, I saw more this time. I didn't just see the line and say, "Oh yeah, that's really cool," and stop there. No, I saw more. And I thought, I'm going to open this back up and I'm going to see what's there. I'm going to reimagine this drawing. I'm going to reinvent this drawing. It doesn't take away from this original drawing, which I still love, but I did reinvent it. Now, I don't have a recording of that process. Sometimes I do, but I didn't this time because I wouldn't say I was in a hurry. I was just sort of inspired and I just went for it and I didn't think to make a recording, but that's okay. So I'm going to show you now the layer where you can see what I did. Make this my pointer a little bit smaller. It's the same exact drawing, literally. And as you can see, I added a pupil to the eye. I added these lines. I added the other side of the lips. I didn't include the rest of the nose, but that's okay. This line here indicates the cheek bone or the cheek line. I wasn't worried about being precise or exact or literal. I mean, gosh, I think I'm anything but literal personally. And then here, I didn't add a second eye, but I added an illusion of an eye. So if you really pay attention, it is sort of where the eye would be. I guess it's kind of an abstract art. But one of the things that was important to me in my approach, or at least how I envisioned a new approach for this image, was to do color blocks. And so the lines that I drew allowed me to sort of separate the face into two halves, and then I had to decide how I was going to add the color blocks in. I also added an illusion or a reinterpretation of eyelashes, as you can see underneath, and also, the shape of people's eyes. I created this thing underneath. I mean, you could call it a dark circle, you could call it puffy, whatever you want to call it. I mean, neither one of those sounds very attractive or appealing, and yet, there are very distinctive things around human faces that give us character, right? And so I just decided to sort of add this section in. There was a girl in high school named Laurel who just did the most extraordinary drawings of faces, and I think I'm still inspired by the work that she did even to this day, and that was a long time ago now. There's sirens out there. You could probably hear them. We're going to hold off for a second. That I can't control. What happens outside sound-wise, I cannot control, so we're just going to let it be. Anyway, so when it came to color, I knew that I wanted to put in the oranges. I'm not sure why I started there. And actually I started with yellow. So I started with the yellow and the orange and the under the eye. It's hard to tell, but there's such subtlety in some of the changes in color. I didn't do a gradient. I could have done a gradient, I suppose, although it's a little tough to do it in mobile art apps, and that's what I was using here. So I just did flat color, but I did vary the color, right? So this orange is slightly different than this orange and slightly different. And I mean just a degree off, right? And I don't know how much this is going to translate in the video, but there are two different greens here. There's a deeper one, more of a lime green in the center, and more of a yellow green on either side. So it's so subtle that unless you were really paying attention, you might not even notice that. And I did the same thing in the section with the eye. So this is a sort of a pale blue. This is a slightly deeper blue. This is sort of a lavender. I'm not sure if that would be a periwinkle, but something like that. And then I also used blue over here, slightly more of an ultramarine or a deep sky blue. And then I used this sort of warm lavender, and I used more of a vibrant purple. There's a turquoise. And in the lips, you'll notice that there's some slight differences here in the sort of mauve that I chose. And this is a lighter version as well. The lips on this side, I just left white. I thought it would be kind of cool to do that. Now, as I looked at this, I thought, I really feel like this is cool, but it needs something more. It needs texture. So I did. I gave it some texture. And here's the other drawing. Well, I shouldn't say the other drawing, but here's the other piece of it. So we can turn this off. So this is the before. So this here, of course, on the left is the first one that I did, right? The simple line drawing. And then here it is reimagined. And then here it is where I added some texture in and I actually signed the piece. And the small differences here are that when I did this texturizing, I did lower the opacity a little bit, and it definitely changed some of the colors that I had, which I allowed and encouraged, actually. And then also, I did a little bit of removing of some of the texture in these areas to create sort of a little pop, or maybe to create a little more shape in it, right? And I did the same thing with the eye. I wanted the eyes to be a little bit whiter as opposed to having all that yellow in there. So that was one of the changes that I made. Now, I guess the point of this is basically just to introduce you to the idea that I'm going to be talking about my art. I'm going to be showing you befores and afters. Chances are I'm going to, do some interesting tutorials along the way. But I wanted you to see what's possible with just a simple idea. very simple idea and how far you can take it. I didn't show you any of the details of how I took it where I took it, but you can see that you can go from here to there and how interesting it can be. It was a lot of fun to do this, and it's really fun to share. I love show and tell, so that's what this is all about. Now, if you're interested in learning more, by all means, please go to my website. I'm at www.charrcrail.com. It's spelled CharrCrail.com. That's my website. And you can see tons of work there. You can see all the different areas that I work in. I am a professional photographer. And as I mentioned earlier, I teach people how to uh, basically do marketing with your cell phone and to use apps to create fantastic art. I've got all kinds of webinars coming up. Actually, I'm calling them master classes now because they're a little more in depth than just a simple webinar. They're just content driven and absolutely wonderful. And it's live online, great stuff. So please go to my website. And also, if you sign up for my newsletter, you get a free gift. The gift is a wonderful what you call it, a quick start guide. It's a quick start guide to getting great pictures and thinking visually, and how basically using your cell phone to get great photos and videos. And it's a wonderful introduction to a world that I believe in 100%. So I wanted to share that with you, and just start over again as the Muse in 2017. So thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Please go to my website, sign up, get your free quick start guide, which is kind of awesome. And I look forward to communicating with you more. Thank you.